Yes, y'all. You know what it is. It's your man Wildcard Mar back in the building. It's Taco Tuesday because Randy Weber is here. Hey, we got a lot to talk about. Very NFL heavy show. We'll talk about the games that we watched, and we're gonna do something that I love to do every year. We're gonna give you 5 coaches who might be on the hot seat, just our opinions, and of course, hey, we got to talk about that top 100 list. We'll definitely tackle the top 10. Y'all can have the other 90 players. We'll talk about the top 10. So, hey, all that and more on this episode of the I.O.W. Sports Show, Late Night Owl Edition, with your man Wildcard Mar and Randy Weber. Let's get to it.
Yeah. Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, Late Night Edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep, go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laps in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar.
Yes, sir. You know what's good. It's Taco Tuesday, and if it's Taco Tuesday, you'll see me and Randy Weber talk our sports. How you doing, Randy? What's good, man?
You see the name I chose. I have opinions.
Now we'll talk about that. Obviously, somehow Daniel Jones is getting a lot of buzz right now. Randy is saying buyers beware. Hey, because at the end of the day, we're still talking about Daniel Jones. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Obviously, with a lot of discuss about week 1 in the NFL. We'll definitely do that. Well, I always like to do this, Randy, and that's why I was like, hey man, just come on with 5 coaches you think are on the coaching hot seat. So I always kind of like to keep track of that, and so pretty much after week 18 and that Black Monday hits, and then I'm like, I was right. I was wrong about that one. And then sometimes, NFL, they always like to throw a firing in the middle of the season too. But yeah, we saw that one coming. So we'll talk about that. Just 5 coaches we think might be on the hot seat. And then but let's start right here. Just one of those things. Obviously, last week was opening week. Right before that, they always finish the top 100 players list. It is supposed to be a list done by the players. All right, that's what they say. And if that's the case, I'm a little skeptical on your top 10. And look, let's just get to it. All right. And this is where I'm at, Randy. And you can combat whatever you feel is necessary. I have no issue with number 1. All right. I have no issue with number 1. I don't. What? Ooh, wow. Crafty Southpaw. What's up?
I had 2 of those. We'll talk about that list because I definitely agree.
Yeah. 2 of those definitely are on there for sure. But when it comes to this top 100 list, Randy, and we're just going to tackle the top 10, like we said. I have no problem with number 1. Obviously, how phenomenal he played, and you saw the difference of what he took away from one team and added to another. All right. And
I
so
did see that. Yes.
yes, look, I have no issue with that. It's 2, 3, 4. I have an issue with, because it goes back to this conversation, and we've had it too. What do you value most? Are we valuing stats, or are we valuing production that actually leads to something greater, as in championships? So, no disrespect to 2, 3, and 4, phenomenal players. I'm just saying, and look, and this is not me being biased. And this is where I want you to definitely rebuttal it if you got one. What number 5 does, and take him off of that roster, I don't think we're having the same conversation. And it's not, again, not a disrespect to Lamar. I'm just saying, phenomenal roster. And they still can't get over the hump. With Josh Allen, I kind of think a lot of talking heads are prisoner of the moment. He does a lot of carrying. He does. And so I'm not too bothered by that. But if we're talking about carrying, number 5 does some carrying too. But his carrying leads to trophies. That's all I'm saying. If we're going to have that argument. Number 4, I understand. Okay. Jamar Chase is phenomenal. Number 1 receiver in the league. That's not a problem. But we're missing the playoffs for the last 2 years. So how great you are is not leading to success. So again, I value winning more than stats. I think it's cool. You get the stats, you do, it looks good on fantasy. We all play fantasy. It looks good. I still need, and in January, you got into the mountaintop, and then in February, you're hosting the mountain in your hands. That's all I'm saying. So the closer you get to that, the more I'm more lenient on where you at in the list. But in this list, I'm like, y'all just don't like him. Y'all tired of him kicking y'all ass. Well, what is it? Is it some, I'm real cool with 2. I'm real cool with 3 and 4. Like, I jump in here, Randy. Maybe I'm tripping.
Okay, so making these kinds of lists is always, because I always did the top player list when I would come on this year and on this show.
No,
yes, you did. As
the glaze, nobody. All right.
It's always weird to do these lists because what you're actually ranking is always kind of confusing. And so the voting ends at the end of the regular season before the playoffs start.
Yeah.
And if you're just going by last year's regular season, I can understand the logic behind it.
Fine.
Now, there are problems with that. First of all, if you're going to give Josh Allen a lot of credit for carrying his team, which, by the way, I do think this is interesting because despite Josh Allen winning MVP, Lamar Jackson won first team All-Pro and now is ranked higher on this list. So
make it make sense, bro.
So I do think that's an interesting reflection of the opinion of the players. Like, if this was voted by the players, they probably would have picked Lamar Jackson for MVP. I think he probably should have won MVP, but I do think that the logic behind Josh Allen winning it was, well, he's doing a carry job. He lost Stephon Diggs. He lost Gabe Davis. He has a third string receiver as his best receiver, and yet he's working this magic and winning all these games. I think that makes total sense.
Fair.
However,
that's what I said. I'm fair, but still,
yes. However,
you can't get past number 5.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So 2 things. Patrick Mahomes has also had to do insane carry jobs in the exact same regard. People forget 2 years ago when the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill and everybody thought that was the end of the Chiefs' run at the top.
Fair point. Fair point. Fair.
Yeah. I'm going to get to that, Corey, because that is a good point.
Fair point.
He had to do that. With Kadarius Toney and MVS, who were dropping all of his passes, and he still won the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce was already starting his decline. This past year, he won 15 games as the starter. He won 15 games, and Travis Kelce was a shell of himself. Rashee Rice wasn't on the field.
Nope.
Xavier Worthy was a rookie, and he had no left tackle. And despite that, he still won 15 games.
It went back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and even if you're just cutting it off with the regular season, he won 15 games, and he had how many? I think with like 9 game-winning drives to win those games. So I don't think you can argue that Patrick Mahomes isn't also doing an insane carry job, and he won even more. Like Josh Allen was his one loss, right? But he won even more. He was the first seed, despite a really horrible situation that he had around him. So I don't think that it's fair. I still think that Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the world. But I know that the big talk right now is they want someone else to be that guy, and the other guys are putting up the more impressive stats. I do think that Patrick Mahomes' decline in stats is explainable by the changes of his situation more so than him becoming a worse player. Him being a little more of a check down machine makes sense if you lost Rashid Rice and you're kind of having to keep away with the ball as a style. I don't think that that's inherently unfair.
I agree with your comment, Crafty Southpaw. I think that's fair. That's a fair, maybe quote unquote voters fatigue.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I also think, like I jokingly said last week, that it was the damn you did that shit with Khalil Shakir award. And I do think that was the part of the reasoning behind it. And that is kind of how that works. Lamar Jackson had Derrick Henry. So people are like, well, you have another top 10 player on your team. Yeah, and so you had a lot of help. Not, despite the fact Lamar Jackson has done that without Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Plenty of times. But this kind of goes to are you just valuing last year in a bubble, or are you contextualizing it at all with previous years? Because if we're doing that, Justin Jefferson should be ahead of Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had the better year last year, but consistent greatness has been Justin Jefferson over him with much worse quarterback play. So
good point.
You have to assume this is strictly going by the 2024 to 2025 regular season and nothing else is being considered, because that's the only way this really makes any sense. But then you come into other problems when you look lower on the list. I know we're not talking about it, but CMC and Dak Prescott made the list after only playing like a few games each. Dak not even being good in the games he was playing.
Yeah, so that shows that you're not valuing just that season.
Right, exactly. So it's like, what are we doing? Like, you're telling me that those two were better than Mike Evans and T. Higgins, who they were ranked above last year? So I don't know. I would move these people around a little bit. I think if we're going entirely by who was the best last season, then it's kind of hard to argue with this list. If I am going by who I think are actually the best players in the world, I think Patrick Mahomes is still number one, given the context of how much of the Chiefs winning is because of him alone, and how he still does that, and how he has managed to do that almost no matter the circumstances around him. Yeah. And also, I do want to point out to what Corey said about Saquon Barkley, because I said this and I made this point. Yeah, if he was on the Giants, nobody talked about him as the best player in the world when he was on the Giants. And I do want to contextualize that, because, look, Saquon had a great year, and I know that I'm a hater. And I know that no one will listen to me because I have hater venom in my veins. And I'm grabbing onto these stats out of hatred. But it is also true. He ran behind the best O-line in the NFL. Yeah. Lane Johnson led the NFL last year in run block wins. That helps a lot. We have to remember the past 2 years before the Eagles had Saquon, Miles Sanders ran for over 1,200 yards behind that offensive line. DeAndre Swift, who the Bears wanted decapitated last year, 2 years ago, was a Pro Bowler and top 5 in rushing yards behind the Eagles O-line. So that clearly plays a role in the production that he's had. Whereas someone like Derrick Henry, for instance, he did a 2,000-yard season on the Titans.
Yeah, I hear you.
So we have to we kind of always, running back especially is such a team relative position where, like, if your offensive line is good or bad will determine how productive you are to a very significant degree. But I can't argue as much as I would love to with a 2,000-yard rusher making number one.
Yeah,
because it's a 2,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, and to be fair, and trust me, I think you make valid points. I just also think that just the difference, I guess, fear factor that Saquon and Jalen Hurts as a combo is a lot more scarier than DeAndre Swift or Miles Sanders combo with Jalen Hurts.
Of course.
I think that dynamic is what the Eagles are definitely like. Oh, you're just gonna let them walk out the building, Giants? Well, come on back to Pennsylvania. We'll handle all that. And
of course, I'm not arguing that Sanders and Swift are as good as Barkley. Barkley's obviously an upgrade.
Hey, Eagles stack the deck. Why not? I mean, you can't get mad at their GM for doing his job. So I mean, he did it and did it well. But a GM job, another job that a GM does have is they have a good say so on who the coach is going to be. And Randy, just indulge me right here because I like to do this every season. It's 5 hot seat candidates, and we had a comment earlier from Crafty Southpaw. I'm gonna put it back up. In his opinion, he has 3. He's saying Canales down in Carolina, Daboll in New York, and McDaniel in Miami. 2 of those 3 names I have on my list too, Crafty Southpaw. And I'm gonna throw my list off from 5 to 1, 5 being the least hot and 1 being the most hottest. So for me, number 5, I had him on my list last year, and it may sound crazy to some people, but I got Sean McDermott for the Buffalo Bills at number 5. And the reason why I say that is because I've had this conversation last year. At some point, you gotta break through. And this might mean nothing to most folks, but it means something to me. This is their last year in that stadium in Buffalo. All right. They're going into that beautiful new stadium that's worth a whole bunch of money next year. And I'm thinking, hey, all right, Bills were so close to breaking through. We're getting in this new stadium. Let's give our fan base something, proud and say, hey, we got the coach that's going to give us over the hump. And if McDermott can't get to that Super Bowl this year, I just think you've hit your ceiling. I said this last year. Like, you can't keep bumping up against the ceiling and not break through. Like, you just keep hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and it's damn near bulletproof to you, and you can't break it. And that's what I kind of feel like he's bumping into. So at some point in time, if you just keep bumping that ceiling and you're not going to break it, let's get somebody else with a better jackhammer in here that's going to break through. It's somebody. Maybe it's just a change of voice that needs to get it or something. And look, I do think it needs to be some help from his general manager right now. Hey, let's make sure we get the right pieces here on defense that can give us continuous pass rush. If you ever notice, they never had that one guy on defense say, hey, he's going to make that play and get the ball back. They never had that guy. Maybe try exploring that. Help him out. Also, he is a defensive-minded coach, and Josh Allen, he's a quarterback who wants to, do certain things that, hey, let's get the ball moving. At some point in time, you're going to have to pair Josh Allen with a very offensive-minded coach to tap into his full potential, and again, get him some adequate weapons. You can't just keep thinking that Josh Allen's going to Superman you with just James Cook. He's going to need a little bit more. No shade on Shakur, but come on now. He's at best, he's a most teams' number 2 at best, and that's your number 1. So there's a huge disparity if you start you put his wide receiver core against some of the other wide receiver cores in the league. You're not even checking for Buffalo's wide receiver core. Keon Coleman had a great game. Needs to be consistent. It's his second year, so we'll see. I just think Sean McDermott at some point in time has to break through. So he's there, not my number 5. My number 4, I got Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. At some point in time, and I get it, he got 2 winning seasons, 11 win seasons. That's cool. But in the mix of those 2 winning seasons, you got like an 8-9, I think a 9-8, and then like a 3-14 in there last year. So you keep going up, down, up. You got to start coaching consistent. And I get it. Y'all still can't find a quarterback, and but I get it. I understand that. But there's going to be some changes with that position for sure. And at some point in time, you got to find your quarterback. And then most times, you really want to find a coach that pairs well with your quarterback wherever you find it in the future. And who knows if when they find that quarterback, if Stefanski's the right guy. Not sure. Number 3, Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. You made it to the AFC Championship game a few years ago. Cool. But you missed the playoffs the last 2 years. And I'm willing to bet if somebody has to go, it won't be Burrow. It won't be Burrow. So he'll go way before Burrow will. All right. But Zach Taylor, I think you got to start get back in the playoffs, because we were just talking about the Bengals up there with the Chiefs and the Bills and the Ravens a couple of years ago, but we can't keep putting y'all in that conversation off of what y'all did 2-3 years ago. We got to start putting y'all in the conversation of what you're doing lately. And lately, you've been missing the playoffs, so you're kind of starting to fade off that run you had a couple of years ago. So I got him there at number 3. Number 2, Brian Daboll. I think it's obvious. Look, I get it. It makes a difference when they take Saquon away from you. I get that. You haven't found a quarterback. I get that. You thought Daniel Jones was the best person to keep. Bad choice, obviously. But at some point in time, he was brought into New York because of the job that he did in Buffalo and how great it looked. Only problem is he don't have a Josh Allen in New York. I don't know what the situation is. But one thing that I did see is when you're a number 1 receiver who's had a great game, had a solid game against Washington, but when you start seeing that type of frustration that early, and I'm like, because Malik and look, I'm just going off the psychology of it. I looked at Malik Neighbors. He's like, man, I can't do this like I did last year trying to do this carry job. This is ridiculous. I can't do it. And that's what I'm thinking his frustration was coming from in that week 1 game. It's like, bro, we're not doing this shit again, bro. Come on now. We can't do this again. I can switch the quarterbacks out and we keep getting the same results. Nah, bump this. This is bullshit. That's what I was reading off of his mannerisms in that game. So when it comes to you definitely correct me if I'm wrong, if I misread that. But number 1 on my list for sure is Mike McDaniel. Wow. Woo. This is what happens when you tie your whole offense into an injury-prone quarterback. Lou Anarumo, and I butchered his last name, former DC for Cincinnati all those years, now in Indy. He ripped you up. He tore your offensive game plan, stomped on it, ripped it up, took a shit on it, and lit it on fire. He had Mike McDaniel just looking silly as hell. And then the press conference was just, nah, bro, you gotta, I don't know, just something about him. He's like one of the bros and not the coach in Miami. It's like the players kind of look at him like, all right, little bro. It's not more like, yes, coach. I just kind of get that vibe. I just starting to get that vibe from the team that they're not listening to this dude. I think he's already lost the voice. I could be wrong, but I'm just going based off of what I'm seeing. I'm like, that was bad. Just to get straight dog walk like that, and you had no answer. You had nothing. And you about to have a frustrated 31-year-old that makes upward to $40 million a year at wide receiver. All right. The man knows how to make some babies, but don't forget he know how to crash out too. Don't start getting Tyreek Hill crashing out. I'm just saying you're going to have to move that man before the trade deadline, and that's going to be hard to do. Because if he wants to move, he's going to want to go to a contender. Most contenders ain't got $40 million of cap space for a wide receiver chilling. So just saying. That's gonna be tough. Let's get to some of these comments. If you are getting ready to flame my bottom pick McDonald's. Hey Corey, he's number one on the list. He's getting out of there.
All right. So I'll do my top 5. So
hey Tommy, hey, all he has to do is just make a wild card. He good. Because
no, after that game, especially with Aaron Rodgers looking like 2021 Aaron Rodgers, I think Tomlin might be safe. All right, so
I agree with that.
5.
He'll be made the scapegoat, and that's why I put him on my list.
Number 5, I have John Harbaugh. Yup.
Talk about that, dog. Come on.
So he has had an insanely talented team for years now. He's had one of the 3 to 4-ish, depending on the year, best quarterbacks in the NFL. Some say the best quarterback in the NFL. 2-time MVP. Some argue should have been a 3-time MVP.
Yeah.
He's had that quarterback for years. He now has Derrick Henry. He has had Derrick Henry. This is his second year having Derrick Henry. He's had among the best defenses in the NFL consistently, and he still hasn't made a Super Bowl. And I think, and we're going to talk more in detail about the Ravens-Bills game, one of the best games I've ever seen. The game was phenomenal. Both teams played phenomenal, and Lamar Jackson lost really despite having one of the greatest quarterback performances I've ever seen, and a real Jerry West winning the finals MVP on a losing team style of play. And they still lost. And they lost for a couple of reasons. And it wasn't just John Harbaugh, but John Harbaugh choosing to punt the ball back to Josh Allen with enough time left to bring the ball back down was such an egregious decision.
Egregious, Randy. It was so egregious because they have not shown anything that they were able to stop Josh Allen in the second half.
Yeah, exactly. No, Josh Allen at that point had like 30-something points already. And yeah, despite having what's supposed to be an elite defense, and they, Derrick Henry fumbled the ball, and that's not John Harbaugh's fault. And it's also not something that ever really happens. So Derrick Henry fumbled the ball, and also Tyler Loop missed the extra point. Those two things not happening, and it doesn't really matter what Harbaugh does. But once you know that's your situation, and you punt the ball back to Josh Allen, you're just asking for what ended up happening after.
Yeah.
So
here's the game. Here, take it.
Yeah, exactly. He has probably the most talented roster in the NFL, and it still doesn't perform in the playoffs like that. People are going to clown Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson's been the scapegoat for their playoff failures or their choke jobs. This was not Lamar Jackson's fault. And last year, although he had a rough first half, he did enough to get them in the game in the second half. And the Mark Andrews drop and everything, but like consistently not getting there. So John Harbaugh, I think, might be on the hot seat because someone needs to push this team, just like you said with McDermott. 4, I agree with Zach Taylor. I don't think you can have your job for as long as you've had it when you have Joe Burrow and you can't seem to do that much with him. I think they're going to want to go for a defensive-minded coach to whip up the other side of the ball. I think they're going to want someone that can be like what Brady and Belichick were, where you have the quarterback you don't need to worry about, and then you have the defensive-minded coach to give him the support. I think that Zach Taylor is almost definitely going to go. 3, I have Callahan.
Really? Already?
Yeah. Well, first of all, nobody believes in Callahan anyway. So I don't think they hired him because they believe in him. I think they hired him because they needed someone. And I mean, you just brought in a first overall rookie quarterback. His situation is horrible. He has no real chance of developing. And it's not his fault. Like, he's just, there's nothing around him that's working right. We saw it with the Broncos. The Broncos didn't even have a particularly good game. Like, Bo Nix didn't look all that good, and they still won mostly just because the Titans were that bad. They need someone that can really be the means to develop Cam Ward, develop the situation around Cam Ward, so Cam Ward can work within it and develop. So I think Callahan's already. I think he was like a one and done deal. McDaniel is my number 2, and I totally agree. Everything we heard about the vibes coming out of the offseason with the Dolphins. They were rancid vibes. Tyreek Hill wanting out, Jalen Ramsey wanting out, having what people expected to be the worst O-line in the NFL, or one of the worst. Having what people expected to be one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. Everything falling apart on the team. And we're gonna get back to that secondary later, because I have a warning for the people of Indianapolis. But yeah, everything falling apart, despite them having had talent on the team. And yeah, I agree. I just don't think he has control of the locker room. I think that is a big reason why it's not working. Yeah. And number 1 is Brian Daboll. I don't know. My head coach. And I think that, and we'll talk more about it, but I think watching the Giants game with Russell Wilson was very eye-opening into a lot of the things that are wrong, because not just Daboll, but also Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator. If you watch that game, Russell Wilson looked a lot like Daniel Jones has looked for the past few years. And I don't just mean in the fact that he was bad. I mean the style of play looked very similar to Giants Daniel Jones. He shriveled up when it got to the red zone. The red zone offense has been one of the worst in the has been the worst in the NFL with Daniel Jones. Then Russell Wilson gets there and he has almost the exact same problem. He shrivels up in the red zone. The offensive line can't block anybody. A big part of that's because we didn't have Andrew Thomas, but despite everything we've invested in the O-line, we've gotten nothing from it. Nobody but Andrew Thomas can block. Jermaine Illuminor was solid when he has Andrew Thomas opposite him, but that's just kind of it there. It's just like, it's almost the exact same problems across the board. Just a lot of checkdowns because he doesn't have time to throw. He doesn't have time to throw the moon ball because the O-line is killing him against a defensive line that was one of the worst in the NFL last year and only added AARP member Von Miller as their solution. That defensive line had more pressures against, a better pressure percentage against Russell Wilson than the Giants defensive line that has been sold all offseason as being elite had against Jaden Daniels. Why? Well, because they invested in the offensive line significantly. They got Laramie Tunsil and they got Josh Connerly in the draft, and their offensive line looks significantly better. And that's what we should have done, and we didn't. So, it looks bad, and it looks the same kind of bad. And Malik Neighbors looks done because he played his ass off, and it just didn't matter. Brian Burns had a great game; it didn't matter. So yeah. Brian Daboll. Also he was already on the hot seat. He's been on the hot seat for a while, so he's kind of obvious.
Yeah. Let's get to some of these comments. It says, I know, but your point was at some point you have to break through. Well, here's the thing. Steelers are an anomaly franchise. They do not change head coaches. They don't. They do not go through several head coaching. They don't. Mike Thomas been there for almost 15 years, 16 years, something like that. Before him, Bill Cowher was there for a number of years, and before him, it was Chuck Noll. That's it. They don't change coaches, so I don't see them breaking their mold on their loyalty. Their loyalty to a fault at times. And Mike Tomlin, I think he's earned enough cachet. Until his voice is drowned out by the players, then we have a problem. but they mainly they stick around players until they like, all right, he's trying to get bigger than the franchise. Let's move off of him, and they're not afraid to do it.
Yeah. Also, I think another thing helping Mike Tomlin is a big part of my attacks against Harbaugh and Taylor were that they have these elite quarterbacks, and therefore they should have done more. I think that people understand that, and this is the same reason I didn't have Canales on the list, because, like, yeah, Canales has had horrible records, but he also has had basically no talent.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin has not had a quarterback to work with since Big Ben left.
Yep.
I don't think anybody expected him to do anything with Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett.
Exactly. He keeps dragging to the playoffs. So
right, Justin Fields, washed Russell Wilson, now washed Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that people are looking at him and be like, why haven't you won a Super Bowl already? Like, well, like he's doing a lot with a little on offense specifically. So I think that gives him a lot of leeway. Like when he gets a good quarterback and then he still can't do it, that's when they're going to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Crafty Southpaw, he threw Kyle Shanahan in there, and I almost put him on my list. I think obviously, when you make the Super Bowl a couple of times and you don't win it, and then all to see, he's kind of been there's some times in there where it's like, damn, what's wrong with the 49ers? What we got last year, that's something that we don't normally see of a Kyle Shanahan led 49ers. So I didn't put him on my list because look, man, I think he's getting just a leeway from just the roster. There's some it's still a capable roster. The only problem is with them is his key piece is going to be available. Are you losing George Kittle? Philly Mike OG says that they say Brock Purdy's out. I haven't seen that report yet.
Damn, breaking news.
I haven't. So I can't confirm nor deny that because I haven't seen it. So
those fans are liars. He might be lying.
Yeah. And then he says Harbaugh is about in the same boat as McDermott. It would be a tough decision when you move off somebody that gets you a lot of regular season wins and puts you in the postseason. But at the same time, and when you said Harbaugh, I was like, and then I kind of thought about it for a second, like, yeah, man. If I'm talking about the same thing about Sean McDermott, then I have to put Harbaugh in the same boat.
It's the same kind of problem. But the reason why I think Harbaugh more so than McDermott is because a lot of the times with the Bills, it's just they lose to the Chiefs playing well, right? Like, it's not like the Bills have like consistent meltdowns. It's that they are being beaten. The Ravens have been having meltdowns and have been beating themselves in what. So I think that's the difference there. For Shanahan, I don't think that Shanahan is, because last year was mostly the result of injuries. That I don't think that really had anything to do with him. And the year before, 2 years before, he got to the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl with Mr. Irrelevant, who he developed into being a good quarterback. And before that, Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. I think if you're such a good coach that quarterbacks aren't given credit when they play for you, that I think you're given some leeway. Is like, well, he's done a lot with a little. I think that he's probably safe. Although the Moody situation, as he pointed out, is really weird. Yeah. That's an uncharacteristic oversight from him.
Yeah. It was even getting lean for in the last few years of Ben. You bring up a point right there too, Corey. So I mean, but hey, it's just a list that we I like to put together, just kind of, and then we'll definitely revisit it throughout the season, especially based off of performances. And obviously, we're just in week one, just had week one. All right, so let's not overreact, but it's something to always keep an eye on. Just always keep an eye on it. But let's get to it. Around the NFL, some of the games that we watched, I haven't been able to watch all the games because I do have the NFL Plus app and I love it. They condense the games. I can watch a full game in like 40 minutes and I love it. So I've been into that, and then I usually kind of try to give my opinions after that. But some of the games that you watch, Randy, that caught your eye, some performances that caught your eye, some failures that caught your eye. Let's talk about it, man.
All right, so let's kind of do it in order. We'll start with Eagles Cowboys. That was the first game. and I'm gonna pair this partial take before we get into the actual game with the one that happened after Chiefs Chargers, because you get to be just as sad as me this week, since both of our teams lost. But I think that it is incredibly funny that it is now NFL canon that you are legally not allowed to spit on somebody, but you are legally allowed to slap somebody. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you, since it was your tight end that got slapped, Mr. Taylor Swift? What do you think about these rules?
I thought that was crazy. I was like, wait, my man just threw a full-fledged punch, and just because it was open-handed, he gets to stay in the game. And the crazy thing, Tart ended up making a couple of good key plays down the stretch that if he was ejected, he wouldn't have made those plays. He stopped a 2-point conversion, and he tipped another ball, and I'm just like, yo, this guy is out of here. Like, oh my goodness. Like what is this? Like, my thing is like consistency. Where are we at on these rules? Like, don't get me wrong. So Jalen Carter, he deserved the ejection. You don't spit on nobody. That's tacky. That goes beyond playing football. That's on some real. I got to see you after the game, bro. I got to see you after the game. Spitting on me is the closest thing to the most disrespectful thing to like slapping somebody, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course. I come on the opposite side. I think we should just allow all of it. I think, like, look, this is a violent man sport, and if you want to really sell those tickets, if you really want to get moving ratings, more of that, more spitting and more slapping. I think my issue is not with that he left Tart in the game. My issue is that he did that after ejecting Carter for a much less egregious offense.
I mean, so all right, so Randy, before we started the season, we had an episode, and literally in the middle of the episode, an alert went on my phone. It said NFL is going to make an emphasis on sportsmanship. Obviously, they're going to, hey, you standing over your opponent, you know, they're going to flag you. All right. So if you're making an emphasis on sportsmanship, obviously spitting on somebody, I understand the ejection. That's, to me, the Tart slap is just as egregious.
If not more so. I think it's more so.
If we're talking about, we're making an emphasis on sportsmanship, that is one of the examples, especially in pee-wee football, in middle school and high school. Hey, the coach's heart, hey, don't do this. Don't do that. Those are one of the things that they tell you on when it comes to sportsmanship. Hey, keep your hands to yourself. Only time we want you to put your hands on somebody is if you're blocking or you're tackling. That's what you do.
Also, Dak was on some bitch shit with that. Him hiding behind his lineman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation because he's not installed from that situation.
No, he hiding behind his lineman, spitting basically far enough where he has plausible deniability, but obviously trying to spit at Carter. Yeah. And then Carter walking up to him being like, if you're gonna spit, get up close, don't hide behind nobody.
You got to really do it.
yeah, exactly. And then he really did it, right? And then Dak was like, "Oh, refs, he spit on me. Eject him from the game, please." Like, excuse me. Like, Dak was on some bitch shit there. Like, bro, if you're gonna spit, just like get in there.
You're
like,
right.
Dak doesn't want smoke with Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter does crimes. Like, he doesn't want smoke.
I'm telling you, that was like a lean on me moment. Did you smoke crack? Then jump. Then do it. Then. Like Dak. Look, but on the opposite end of that coin, I do give Dak. Hey, he played the mind game in a very heated rivalry, and Jalen Carter took the bait. Don't get me wrong. But still, two wrongs don't make it right. And my man Kool McCain brought up a solid point earlier today on Air Cheap Podcast. He said, now, if they would have suspended Jalen Carter, I think you have to explore suspending that because he's part of that. I mean, the spit is spit. And I get it. There is a difference between spitting on somebody and spitting at somebody. I get it. But the action was still the same with the same intentions. One just went all the way through with it and one semi-pussyfooted around it. So I mean, I get
you got to be consistent. Exactly. Like Dak, Jalen, and Tart. If you're going to suspend one of them, you should suspend all of them. It doesn't make any sense to only suspend one.
Yeah, he was damn near in the huddle. Yeah,
Look, he spat at him first. I get why Jalen Carter responded that way. It's just like, look, like if you're gonna do it, just don't be a bitch about it. Like, come into my face and do it.
Let's spit for real. But let's talk about the game. Now I will say this.
Hold on, but before you go into it, I just gotta run and grab my charger. So I'll let you jump in and then
go ahead. Look, for me, I thought this game was 100% this is why Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback display. I thought he did everything that you needed to do to show on how important Jalen Hurts is to that franchise. And I know he gets a lot of the flack similar to I get in the same sense of Patrick Mahomes. Hey, the stats don't look like this. Look at the team that you're with and blase. Still, Jalen Hurts still has to, get that orchestra together. He still has to play conductor, especially on offense. I get it. There's A.J. Brown. There's Devontae Smith. There's Saquon Barkley. But in the construct of how they run their offense, he is so key to it because look at how, literally, Dallas for some reason didn't put a spy on Jalen Hurts, and he made him pay for it with his feet. All right, cool. And then, made certain throws when he needed to. And I know A.J. Brown's not happy that he only got one target and damn near in the fourth quarter, but hey, Jalen Hurts is about putting the orchestra together, conducting it, make beautiful music. And it works. It works for them. I thought that Philly did a good job on that. Secondary wise, they got to jeez. Oh my goodness. They got to figure out something on that secondary. But again, context to the game, Jalen Carter already ejected, didn't play not one play, which I also find kind of weird on him just only getting a fine and able to play. I guess they said, hey, the ejection counted as a suspension. That's kind of wild to me. But anyway, obviously Jalen Carter didn't play. And then other than that, you see them making moves. They go ahead and get Zadarius Smith. That shows me that, hey, we didn't generate enough pass rush. They did let some pass rushers go in free agency, but at the same time, they were like, well, we need more pass rush because missing Jalen Carter showed significantly. If he's not there and producing that pass rush, they didn't have it. They weren't getting it, and it burned them on their secondary. Dory Jackson was getting burnt. He was getting toasted. Now, when it comes to the Cowboys, I honestly think they should have won that game. Took advantage of the fact that Jalen Carter went there and take advantage of the fact that you were burning Dory Jackson and the fact that they weren't producing pass rush. I thought they should have took advantage of that a little bit more. Had some bad drops. Oh, my goodness, some bad drops in that game. CD Lamb, great wide receiver. But for some reason, I don't know what happened. Coming down the stretch, them clutch times, you had 2 bad drops that were just bad and not something that should be coming from a top 5 receiver like yourself. That was just inexcusable. That wasn't good. And then obviously, Michael Parsons, it showed. I know they did I will say this of that trade. I thought Kenny Clark played pretty solid. If you saw how the Eagles were running the ball when they were running up the middle where Kenny Clark was, they weren't getting as much success. But if you saw where they were running on the outside, they got more success in the running game. Just my opinion when I saw the game. I'm going to definitely go back and watch it again. But that's what I saw in that game. And then I kind of let Randy kind of speak on it when he gets back. But I must definitely speak on this about that fan. I've been saying that for years. Fans, keep your damn hands to yourself. I thought it was comical that the guy did an interview with the neck brace on. He pulled an Andy Kaufman like it was WWE. He had a full neck brace on. Like, that was comical. That was comical. His boy's down on the sideline with a career-ending injury. He's over there hawking loogies. Hey, yeah, that was crazy. Guy was hurt, and he yeah, AJ Brown. That was baffling to me. I don't know what happened. Why they decided to not get AJ Brown at least involved in the offense early. I'm gonna have to take a look at it again, see exactly what the Cowboys defense did on the all 22, see what they did to try to guard AJ Brown, because they kept him quiet. I don't know what it was, but they weren't looking for him at all. And late to the fourth quarter, he got his first target. I thought that was kind of odd. I don't know what. Again, I'm gonna have to take a look at the all 22 on that one. Yeah. Lamar was like, "Hey man, you pushing D Hop, you pushing nah, man." Hey, that was comical. Hey, did you see the fan put the neck brace on in the interview? I don't know if you saw that, Randy. That was kind of quite comical. I laughed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was great. All right, we're still on the Eagles Cowboys game, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, say your piece.
So, despite the fact that the Eagles won and the Cowboys lost, I actually kind of came out of it being more concerned about the Eagles and being kind of impressed with the Cowboys. The Eagles, there were concerns over if losing Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, etc., was going to have a significant impact on their defense, and it does seem like it did. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, I had said that they had a really suspect O-line, and their O-line looked pretty good. What was expected to be the worst running back room in the NFL, they were able to run the ball pretty effectively. Miles Sanders looked good aside from the fumble, and
Devontae Williams had a couple of carries. He hit the end zone a couple of times on the short yardage, but again, look, Jalen Carter not missing their paid dividends, and you saw immediately they was like, "Oh, we're not getting no pass rush with no Jalen Carter." All right.
Yeah. Exactly. No, Javonte Williams looked good too, and then
come on, Darius Smith ASAP.
Exactly. Like that. The thing is, if CeeDee Lamb doesn't drop those passes and Miles Sanders doesn't have that fumble, the Cowboys win that game.
Yeah,
but I think for a team that wasn't expected to be good, especially on defense, to look as good as they did against the reigning Super Bowl champions, and for the reigning Super Bowl champions to look pretty mortal, I would be a little concerned about that from the Eagles' perspective.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was like, I came out when that game went off. I'm like, okay, Dallas played a little bit more competitive, and I get it. Division game, and is some of those closer battles are going to be expected because you know each other, you play each other so well, or you see each other so often. So that's understandable too. But I thought Dak played. I know the numbers don't look good. He threw under, less than 200 yards. I think it was like 177. But
his passer rating wasn't great. But like if CD catches those three passes, it looks different significantly.
Ferguson dropped that touchdown. I was like, man, y'all are y'all selling for Dak right now? What's going on? Like, damn, what is this? Like, especially CeeDee Lamb. And I'm just like looking at the caliber of wide receiver you are. You have no business dropping those passes in that time of the game.
Yeah, exactly. It was even worse with how late in the game they were and how close it was.
Yeah. Let's move on to Friday's Brazil game, Chiefs Chargers. Look, I'm gonna be brief because obviously I got an Arrowhead G podcast. Shout out to my man Chris Dow. I'm the co-host over there, and we talked about it at length earlier today. Y'all can go ahead to YouTube, check that out. But I'm just gonna say this: Chiefs. Good thing Patrick Mahomes is there to make it competitive because he had to do a carry job. That offense came out flat. It took a minute for them to get in rhythm. I get it. You lose at that point your number one receiver because your true number one is already suspended, and so your number two is now your number one again, like it was last year. He gets hurt 3 plays in, and I just kind of felt
by his teammate,
his own teammate, and that sucks that it happened. It happens. I had to watch it again and see exactly how it broke down. I need to see the all 22. From what I've seen, they're kind of giving Derwin James a little credit for jamming Travis up and kind of threw that route off. The timing was, and then next thing you know, him and Xavier end up in the wrong spot at the same time. So, but you lose him early. That kind of took the a win out of their sails on offense. Now, defensively, I don't know what the hell happened. I'm trying to look at the glass half full in this situation because the Chiefs did not give up 41 points. They did not give up 40 points, but they did not look good. Justin Herbert had his way, and I might have misjudged the Chargers, but obviously it's a division game. They wanted to beat the Chiefs. Hell, they wanted to beat the Chiefs. They came out like they wanted to beat the Chiefs. They punched them in the mouth on both sides of the football. Chargers are going to be a problem, but man, that pass rush for Kansas City got to find a way to come back. When they rushed 4, Herbert did whatever the hell he wanted to, and if you can't get with 4, you got a problem. And the only time he got pressure was Spags had to dial up a blitz, and that was the only time. And you can't blitz all the time. Not the way that Herbert is talented. He is talented enough that he'll beat you on a blitz, but it was just bad.
Speaking of the Chiefs pass rush, Tranquil, a guy who put his name on the map, looked pretty good in that game.
Yeah, but it was coming off because he got designed. It was designed, and it was coming off when they was bringing 5 to 6. But they were not getting nowhere close to Herbert with 4, and it was just sad. And Herbert did whatever the hell he wanted. They got damn Quentin Johnson looking like damn Larry Fitzgerald out there.
Okay. So, I'll start with the Chiefs then. What do you think that argument between Tranquil and Chris Jones was about?
Hey, I'll simplify it. It was Drew was just saying, "Hey, bro, just do your job," because Chris, who's normally a D tackle, he does get moved on the outside. In that point in time, he was just in charge of getting outside containment, make sure that you don't get beat outside, because pretty much you're on the island. And the moment that Chris was like, "No, man, I need to get this sack," as soon as he went inside, Justin saw it. He said, "Oh, look at all that green grass behind you." You just whoop. And Drew was just basically saying, "Hey, dog, do your job." And I get it. Chris was frustrated, and he later on in press conferences like, "Yeah, man, it was just, I shouldn't have done that, blase, just paraphrasing." And I don't mind it. It's just frustration. "Hey, dog, do your job." "Nah, man, who you talking to?" Just one of those things. But I'm pretty sure after the fact, and I wouldn't put it past Spags and everybody, like, hey, when they put that on film, like, "Chris, come on, bro. What are you doing?" And he's like, "You know what? Y'all right." So I just think that's just what it is. And I'm okay to see it. It's hey, get on the same page. And that's okay. Hey, it's football. It ain't meant to be patty cake. It's yeah.
Also, this is a good example because the people who were trying to move Mahomes off of the number 1 QB position are using this as like, "Oh, this is proof. Like, the Chiefs dynasty is over. Mahomes isn't the guy." And this is the problem with looking at QB wins as the way in which you decide if a QB is good or not. Because obviously the wins matter. But if you actually watch the game, it is really obvious that Mahomes is doing everything he can to keep that game competitive. And it is his passes were being dropped. His pass protection was better, right? But like it just the situation was not really good for him. He was doing basically everything.
As much as he can, because it got shaky. That pass protection, it definitely was shaky at first. It took a minute for it to kind of start getting in. And I already said it on another podcast. Hey, man, go get me a right tackle, man. Get Jawan Taylor, get him up out of there, bro. Get him up out of there. I'll say it again. Get him up out of there.
Yeah, so. And I mean, I've been saying that for years. With all the penalties he gets, like he's someone needs to be moved off from. And meanwhile, on the Chargers side, Herbert had a phenomenal game. I'm thrilled about it because he was on my fantasy team.
Yeah, he was on my fantasy team.
Jamar Chase was too, and I'm less thrilled about that. And we'll talk about that. But
no.
Justin Herbert looked great, and also I have thought that it's kind of crazy that Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman want to have basically tried to treat him like a check down machine. Brandon Staley did that too. Lombardi did that too. Not letting Herbert play to his full potential and prioritizing running the ball. Omarion Hampton looked kind of like okay. He didn't look anything more than just okay. Herbert won that game with his arm. And when you have someone as talented as him, why aren't you having a more pass-heavy offense? I think this is proof that a real pass-heavy offense with him, when you have receivers who can play well, works great for him. And yeah, I mean, my biggest issue with them was, well, they never draft a receiver high, and they're going in with Ladd McConkey as their only good receiver. Well, Ladd McConkey looked good. Keenan Allen looked good.
Yeah, he turned back the hands of time, and he's always been a favorite target for Herbert. And
he was so much worse on the Bears. Going back to the Chargers, clearly has rejuvenated that in him. And then Quentin Johnson, who has been a joke for years, now has Brazilian fans convinced that he's the second coming of Megatron.
It's crazy, bro. I was like, how does this? What this dude got 2 tutties and 100 plus? What is going on?
If you can get consistency from that receiving core, and if Trey Harris looks good too, this could be a legit scary team. The offensive line also, we had questions about that with Rashawn Slater down. Pass protection was pretty good.
It was solid.
It was pretty good with Joe Alt there doing what he does.
I'm gonna say this: I wasn't worried about Joe Alt, and Joe Alt, and I saw this.
Joe Alt's great.
He all right. There was some plays, and I thought I'd never see today, that he had one-on-ones with Chris Jones, and he stood his ass straight the hell up. I'm being dead serious. If anybody has the NFL Plus app, go watch the All 22. There were some times in that game where you literally got a one-on-one with Joe Alt and Chris Jones. Mano, best pass blocker for the best offensive lineman for the Chargers versus best pass rusher for the Chiefs. And he stood him up. And I was worried about the rest of the line. Pipkins on the other side stood up. Like I said, the pass rush just wasn't there unless they dialed up the blitz. And for the most part, man, that offensive line stood up. Joe Alt's a problem. They got one. They got one in LA. He's a stone cold killer at tackle. So yeah. Let's get into some Sunday action, man. What were some of the games that you saw that you want to talk about? Minus Bills and Ravens. We'll get to that after we talk about the rest of Sundays.
Okay, so I have a whole PSA to do about the Colts Dolphins game. So I'm gonna start with that.
Ooh.
Okay, people of Indianapolis, I need you to listen to me. I need you to listen to me very good.
Damn, not the whole PSA as well, bro.
I'm doing an advertisement. I'm doing a PSA. I'm getting Sarah McLachlan in here. Okay. I know Daniel Jones looked great. He looked great against the Dolphins.
It's the Dolphins.
I've watched Daniel Jones for 6 years very closely. I remember 2022. You may not remember 2022, but I remember 2022. It was a great year, a phenomenal year. It was the first year of the pandemic. It was the year when the inflation crisis finally got handled. And I'm not saying they're all related, but I'm also not saying they're not related. Some are saying that it was the greatest year since Christ walked the earth.
Hey, stop, bro.
And in that year, Daniel Jones won 9 games and a playoff game. And he looked really, really good. He looked good. He looked very good. Not like incredible, but he looked very good. And he got a $40 million contract after that year because everyone believed in him. People were sending apology letters to Daniel Jones being like, I'm sorry we didn't believe in you. Yes, it was absolutely Joe Judge's fault. Yes, it was Pat Shurmur's fault. It was not your fault. And then the next year happened, 2023, the worst year. Some are saying that's been the worst year. And it came back to life. Daniel Jones played great. He scored on all of his possessions against what was expected to be the worst secondary in the NFL. Don't buy this. You will be greatly saddened. I remember Sam Darnold last year, and we're going to talk about the Seahawks game and the Vikings game. I remember everybody being super high on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got MVP talks. Sam Darnold got a big contract in Seattle off of 14 wins and great stats. And then he leaves, and he looks like bad again. He looks like Sam Darnold. And J.J. McCarthy, in his place, looks good. Don't buy this, okay? I'm telling you, do not, people of Indiana, don't buy this. I don't particularly like you guys, all right? But I'm here to help you.
I'm here to help. It's crazy. Hey,
So
man,
that's my PSA.
Look. I'll give him his credit. He played well. Again, it was the Dolphins. All right, it was the Dolphins. So here's what you got coming up next. All right. Obviously, they got the Broncos next. That's a solid defense. Let's see what he does against them. All right, before we start crowning him. Got the Titans early. That's a good defense. We saw what they did against Denver, and what they've also been known for in Tennessee is a good defense. Rams, don't sleep on that defense. That's a damn good defense. Raiders, you might get a let up there defensively, but still, Max Crosby will ruin your day. Cardinals, solid defense. They're very, they get after it. Chargers, I just saw what they did against Patrick Mahomes in that offense. Don't sleep on that. And then you get Tennessee again. Then you get Pittsburgh. So you're facing, besides the Raiders, you're facing competent defenses for the next 7 weeks. So have that conversation, Indiana folks, after you get through that gauntlet of some damn good defenses, and then we'll see what you really think about Daniel Jones. Just pump the brakes.
Yes, relax.
Pump the brakes.
Yes, relax. All right, do not let Indiana Jones. Bro, I got charts, bro. Like, I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to save people.
Trying to help.
There are thieves out here trying to trick and manipulate you. They are devils, and I'm trying to help.
Don't fall for it. What else happened in early action? Steelers and Jets. I did not see that shootout coming. Not at all.
No.
Two things I took away from that game, Randy. From the Jets side, still got some Jets in you. It's gonna take a minute to get some because there's some plays y'all left on the field that was like, that's the Jets. But I can tell instantly. I think Aaron Glenn has a grasp on how to change that coaching, and I think the players are buying into it. They got back to running with Breece Hall. Phenomenal job. I can't remember the name of their OC. He did a phenomenal job of making competent play calling for Justin Fields. He missed a couple of throws, so I'm not going to harp on him too bad, but overall, his game was on point.
Yeah.
And he did phenomenal. Now, when
nobody expected that from Justin Fields. I certainly didn't.
I didn't at all. And then I will also give, I'm not a big fan of lately of Aaron Rodgers, but he did have a great game. 4 TDs, no turnovers, and somehow again it must be that Mike Tomlin mojo. He found a way to make something happen. They still got to work on some things on their secondary. They just brought in Jabril Peppers. They lost Deshaun Elliott at safety. But Jalen Ramsey came up with a big play. We talked about it when they first got Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to rule them out, is because when you got some veterans that are just vet savvy and they just know how to be at the right spot, at the right time and make the right play. That was indicative when Jalen Ramsey made that play at the end of the game. And I was like, you know what? That's what you guys got all these vets in, just to, cover up mistakes that's just going to happen. But no, Pittsburgh pulled it out like always. They still got a boot of a kicker in Boswell, bombing it at 59 yards to win the game. So that also helps. But Jets fans, I'm not saying you're going to make the playoffs, but don't be surprised if you are in it towards week 17, 18, still fighting for a wild card. I wouldn't be surprised. What's your take on that game?
Yeah, I mean, more or less the same. I think that, and especially since we're going to talk about the Lions-Packers game too, the big talk was how much of the Lions was their coordinators. And we'll talk about the Bears-Vikings game too. I thought the Bears, despite losing, looked significantly better. I thought Caleb Williams looked significantly better. And the Jets immediately looked like an entirely different team.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Lions look like an entirely different team in the opposite direction. Lions were my pick to win the Super Bowl. I almost immediately saying that maybe I was wrong, that it was in fact the coordinators that were the driving forces there, because that is what it looks like. After, again, it's 1 week. You never know. The Packers are a really good team, but after 1 week, the two teams that the coordinators went to, look better than the Lions did.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Definitely fair. But yeah, man, I was definitely slightly surprised by that game. Jets it's
kind of crazy also that we had a Steelers game where the offense was the driving force of the win.
Exactly.
And we had a Bengals game where the defense was. And it's like, what is this? What are you guys doing? Do you just hate people who try to bet on games? Like, why are you doing that?
He said, Randy's trying to help. Try to help. We're helping people around here. Bengals should have lost that game. If the Browns have a competent kicker, I think they lose that game. Another slow start from the offense and Joe Burrow and them. Only 17 points. So I'm giving more of the credit to the Browns defense. They played phenomenal. Still, I mean, this is what you're going to be dealing with. And I know what a lot of people are going to say, is the Browns defense that saved that game? They played better. Mike Purnell, former Chief, getting him in the middle helped stop the run. That was big for them, but let's not fake the funk. If you're saying, when our defense is going up against the Browns offense and you don't have success, then I think something's wrong with you. So,
exactly.
Browns offense.
Right, when we were talking about when we were making our predictions, and I said that the Bengals are bad in week ones always, but I thought they would be better than they had been because Joe Burrow had been playing in the preseason, that he'd get the cobwebs off. They did win, but they did still look like week one Bengals. Yeah. But I did also say that despite that, the Browns are such a dumpster fire that they will still find a way to lose even with the Bengals at that level. And that is basically what happened. Mm-hmm. Like, the Bengals looked bad, but the Browns were that much worse. And that was it.
Yeah. Falcons start
to 14.
Yeah. Hey, Falcons, start preparing yourself for a kicker. Y'all can't keep putting young Oku in there, thinking that he's clutch. He's made some game-winning field goals, but more times than not, that man's about to shank one, bro. And he pulled it right. 49ers Seahawks. I agree with you. Sam Darnold did look like Sam Darnold, but I'm actually more looking at, y'all paid a lot of money to Brock Purdy that looked like a 7th round Mr. Irrelevant pick. He did not look great. Even that game winning touchdown, that should have been picked. He kind of just threw that up. I'm not, if you're tied to him now, Kyle Shanahan, y'all gave him the money.
Yeah. Exactly. And like my biggest concern was we've seen him without the team around him. We've seen him when players go down, when more than one of his stars go down, he kind of just falls apart. And now he's playing on a team where he has to be the driving force of it because the defense is now full of rookies. You have injuries, and yeah, it's this is exactly what you expect from that. I mean, they won, but they won, I think, largely because the Seahawks were exactly what I predicted they'd be, which is a Sam Darnold-led team. Man strip-sacked himself. Man just strip-sacked himself to lose the game. I warned those motherfuckers, and that's why the people from Indianapolis need to listen to me. I warned people from Seattle about Sam Darnold, and I have more information about Daniel Jones than they could ever have.
Amen. Yeah,
I have Paul Revere for quarterbacks out here.
The British are coming. Hey, well, I don't know. I get it. Their offensive line ain't that great neither, but hell.
Yeah, which was the exact problem Sam Darnold started to have in the last 2 games in Minnesota when the O-line broke down. He froze up because he's terrible under pressure.
Yeah. Couple of more games on Sunday slate before we get to the big one Sunday night. Texans and Rams. My man Chris was he's like, man, I don't know about CJ Stroud. I'm like, damn, already? And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't help when you trade away Laremy Tunsil, your left tackle, and then I don't know what you got at O-line. It didn't work. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, more or less, I don't think the issue is CJ Stroud there. I think the issue is the O-line, but because we've seen what he can do with like an average O-line for his rookie year, so I'm willing to give him
the grace,
the benefit of the doubt that if he had a good O-line, he would perform better.
That's
but
right.
Maybe they should get him a good O-line so we can find that out. Like we all knew that trading away Laremy Tunsil, replacing him with a rookie, and then basically doing nothing else wasn't going to help. And it certainly didn't. Wow, it's crazy that you take your weakest link, your weakest unit, you get rid of the best player on that unit, and then you do nothing. You change the O-line coach. Like, okay, great. Like, how about some personnel? You had a whole draft and you took one O-lineman. That is malpractice. CJ Stroud should sue.
Sue?
Bro, you're gonna get that man's brains scrambled out here. What are you doing?
That's crazy.
Well, since we're starting to get to the 4:00 games, I just want to talk about Giants Washington.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, so I already talked about all the problems with Russ and the O-line, all that's bad stuff. I mean, I didn't really get your thoughts on the game. What was your takeaway from it before I kind of go more into deeper depth?
I kind of suspect it went kind of how it's suspected. Your front seven on your defense was going to give some problems for Jalen Daniels in that offensive line, and they harassed him enough that it wasn't gravy for him. You also saw they had to dig in the bag of Cliff Kingsbury. Had to, all right, well, let me use Debo like a running back, and they kind of open up some things too for sure. Towards the back end of the game, they kind of started getting that running game going, and if they didn't, I saw they started to use Austin Eckler kind of as an H-back more towards it to get the ball moving. Defensive wise for Washington, obviously you get the benefit of the doubt of going against a Giants offense. So I still need to see what Washington's defense can do against when you start playing the Phillies and your more high powered offenses. I got to see that. They'll have the Bills on this schedule, so I want to see what you do against people like Josh Allen. What are you going to do against Patrick Mahomes in a couple more weeks? You know what I'm saying? So I need to see more from the defense. But I'm not one of those subscribers to the Jaden Daniels sophomore slump. I just think it was a division opponent. Giants saw him twice. And did some studying, and then of course it helps when you beef up your front four and your front seven. So, solid game overall. I just kind of took it for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, and that's I guess my bigger frustration with the Giants offense is that this was a pretty winnable game if the offense had just been comparatively more competent.
Yeah.
You know, Daniels played solid,
Yeah.
but the offense was at 14 points for most of the game. They didn't get their last touchdown until like the last 5 minutes of the game.
Hmm.
Um, if the offense was in the red zone multiple times and just couldn't convert. They were at the goal line and couldn't convert.
Hmm.
Our running backs, Tyrone Tracy, who was the second best rookie running back last year, couldn't do anything because of the offensive line. Cam Scadaboo, same thing. Even though like he had his broken tackles and everything, he looked tough. Did a better blocking job than our blockers when the little bit he did for a little guy. But it wasn't for much yardage because he didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean my defensive line was the main selling point. It looked good. Brian Burns, especially with the 2 sacks. Kayvon Thibodeau looked pretty solid. Abdul Carter had the nice play with the blocked punt on special teams. Dex Ridley didn't do much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't really see much from him. Also, the biggest problem, they only had the 4 of them together on 8% of the snaps, which is why even I was skeptical about them getting an edge player because it's like, well, that's like the one thing we're doing right. Why are we getting another one when we already have 2 that are good and we have so many problems everywhere else? And this is kind of what I was worried about. It's just like, are you going to use them all at the same time? Is it going to be worth it? And they could have, but the coaches seem to think that they should be alternating them. And yeah, all 4 of them were only on the field together for 8% of the snaps. So it's like, what are we even doing with that? So those are my frustrations with the game. The defense was good enough to keep it winnable, but they were not the world beaters that they were sold to be. Maybe that's because the Washington O-line is that good now, but
yeah, and I trust. I hear your comments or concerns, but just to ease your pain on it, I just think they'll get more of that combo going, and here's why. Sexy Dexy, pause. I shouldn't have called him that, but Dexter Lawrence says he's talented enough that he's going to command a double team damn near every play. And so when you have that combo of put Kayvon out there, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, that combo of those 4 is just you're going to have to look for Brian Burns, Kayvon, and Abdul to make sure that they're winning their one-on-ones because Dex about to eat up 2. So if you're seeing that in the fact that you aren't getting there with 4, then I would say, hey Randy, yeah, you might want to turn your concern meter a little bit more up if you're not getting there with 4. If you got to keep dialing up the pressures, then I think you should definitely turn your concern knob on. But until then, I think it'll come together because Dex is going to command a double team on every pass rushing opportunity.
Sure, yeah, I definitely don't think that this game is characteristic of Dex. Yeah, no, I've seen Dex be the best player in the NFL at certain points, but yeah, I mean, just when the comparatively weak on paper defensive line out pressures your elite world beating defensive line.
Yeah.
It's concerning, and maybe it is more of a coaching thing, hence why Daboll was number 1 on my list. So
hey, no doubt. Hey, trust, because especially if that's one of your selling points going into the season, like, all right, our front 7 is going to be nasty. That's our selling point. That's our selling point. That's going to keep us in some games, and that's one of the things that I was kind of looking at. Yeah, I think it should, but we'll see in due time. Real quick on Titans and Broncos. Cam Ward, man, he got let down by his wide receivers. I don't know if Calvin really forgot that he's supposed to use his hands to catch footballs and not so much for hitting sin on parlays. I don't know if that's what happened, but he forgot to bring his hands with him on Sunday, and it cost him the game because as highly talked about the different Broncos are by a lot of people, and I think they'll be a good team too. Bo Nix, before everybody start them talking heads been glazing him. He got to show that he can play. I mean, it didn't look great. He had some moments in that game, and I'm giving a little bit more credit to the Titans defense. I thought they played phenomenal, but I'm just kind of looking like, Bo, and Bo may not know. I might want to pump the brakes on that one. So
yeah, no, he really did get bailed out by the defense. I mean, he had 2 interceptions, and then he had also the lost fumble. Like, did not look nearly as good as he did in the second half of last season. Again, I pointed this out that the Titans do have, or did have last year, one of the best pass defenses. How much of that played into this is, I guess, up for debate. It's week 1. He is still a relatively new quarterback. He didn't start becoming a good quarterback until halfway through the year, so maybe he's just rusty. We'll see if that stays, but yeah, I mean, I'd probably be a little concerned when he starts playing teams that aren't the Titans. When those kinds of turnovers will be costly because they can capitalize on it.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Then of course, before we get to the Bills and Ravens, man, Packers. Look, I know a lot of people probably jumping on the Packers bandwagon since they got Michael Parsons and they saw what they did to Detroit. But after that game, I'm like, I kind of thought the Packers were what I thought they were going to be. Obviously, you had Michael Parsons to look good, but I was more looking at, like you brought up, when you lose 2 coordinators for Detroit, and all right, so Dan Campbell, how really good are you as a coach without those coordinators? And obviously, it's just week 1, so I'm not going to hit the panic meter. And
it's against a really good team too.
Yeah, it's a good team, and it's a division rival. They know you, so look, I'm gonna give them the grace, and I'm gonna try to talk you Lions fans off the ledge. All right, I understand. It's a week 1 loss to a division opponent, and it doesn't look good in the standings, but it's 16 more games left, so don't panic now. You still got time. You still get to go up against Caleb Williams twice a year, so you do. If you are losing those games, then I would worry. Yeah. Dan Campbell's going to have to pull off his best coaching job this year. He's going to have to.
Yeah. I mean, because it's week 1, there is also the concern of maybe it's just a matter of them getting used to the new coaching style. Getting more used to the schemes and everything the new coordinators are running. And maybe that has a lot to do with this. Maybe it's just because the team that they're playing is really good. Jared Goff does always have those games every now and then, and maybe it just happens to be the week 1 game. With Micah Parsons rushing at him, it could be a mix of a few different things. Yeah, I wouldn't start getting concerned until this seems to be a pattern, and like maybe a few more games. Like if by week 5 you kind of look more or less the same, then maybe that's when I would start being really concerned.
Yeah. All right, time to talk about the big one, because it definitely had a lot of the talking heads talking on Monday, and I'm not a prisoner of the moment. I'm gonna still kind of keep it, at least within the, I guess, the confines that it is still week 1. But it was a phenomenal game between Bills and Ravens, and I'm gonna be brief about it. For the Bills, what a great carry job that Josh Allen did on that offense. It was dead, and then all of a sudden it woke up at the right point in time, 8 minutes left in the game, and he said, nope, I'm gonna will you sons of bitches to this W, and he did. But I will give a shout out to the defense. Like Ed Oliver, he had a great game, came up with some clutch pressures and hits when it mattered. But I'm more looking at Baltimore. I had no business losing this game. No business losing this game. And then it goes to the bigger point of, hey, damn, this is what happens to y'all in the big moments, in the big games, in the playoffs. Y'all find a way to lose them, and you had no business losing this game.
Yeah, they were up by
15.
Yeah, they were up by 15, going for most of the third.
Looks like I lost Randy. Did I lose you, Randy? He'll jump back in here. But when you're up 15 with 8 minutes left in the game, you got to close that out. I definitely agree with Randy what he said earlier. Probably should have went for it on that fourth down. Probably, no, you should have. You just seen this man keep going up and down the field on your defense. It don't matter how many first round picks I got in that secondary or on the defensive line. It didn't matter. Josh Allen was tearing y'all apart. Y'all kept them contained for what's that? 50 minutes. And managed to keep him under wraps instead of going off, and then all of a sudden you just lose your marbles. So yeah, we won. No, you didn't. There's 60 minutes in the game, and your defense played 52 minutes of it, but you didn't play all 60 minutes. So that was kind of very. If I'm a Ravens fan, I'm pretty sure you're sick about it. You probably don't even want to watch that game. You probably don't even want to talk about that game no more. But that's just what it was, man. That was just bad. You had no business losing that game at all. It was just crazy, and I get it. Lamar Jackson had a phenomenal game. Derrick Henry had a phenomenal game, and I know people are going to look at the fumble, and yeah, that was a bad fumble, costly fumble. But when they had 3rd and 3 and that 4th and 3, I would have put a lot of faith back into Derrick Henry to get 3 yards. I would have trusted him in that moment. But you can't give that football back to Josh Allen the way he was cooking and cooking that defense. 41 points scored on the defense. And I get it. This week 1, I think that defense will play better for Baltimore, but that was not a good showing on week 1. Not in the opening week. It wasn't. But for the Bills, man, I don't know what they're going to do. Defensively, Lamar, and obviously that's a high-powered offense, but Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, they got whatever they wanted. Yeah, man. Thoughts on Bills Ravens so far, the best game of 2025 so far.
Yeah, it was an incredible game. Yeah, I agree. The Ravens had no real business losing it. Can you hear me well, by the way?
Yeah, I hear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they had no business losing that game, and but it was incredible on both sides. I mean, Derrick Henry. Nobody would have thought after watching Derrick Henry run for over 150 yards, just bully the opposing defenders, that he would be part of the reason that the Ravens lost in the end. Mm-hmm. But it was an incredible game from both Lamar and Josh Allen. Like, it was legitimately a perfect game from both, and it was just circumstances that lost the Ravens the game, that decided it. The coaching, the kicking, the one fumble.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was an absolute shootout. James Cook also looked phenomenal. Yeah. Keon Coleman had his best game so far. That crazy bounce off the hand touchdown that he got. Like, yeah, I mean, like, it's legitimately a game that I would actually go and rewatch. Like, it was almost like a movie with how action-packed it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, like, everything was exciting on both ends. And then, like, the final kick to win it. Yeah, it was just, like, if I were making my predictions now, I would say, like, maybe the Bill. This is it, because it's hard for me to get back on the Lions are winning the Super Bowl thing. I don't think I'm sold on that anymore. my new prediction might be the Bills. Ooh. After that, like,
man,
if you're thinking like who's got like the juice right now, like the Bills really do have the juice after that game. Like they would probably be at the top of the power rankings right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that take, but I'm just saying, man, it's never good to peak in week 1. Don't do it, Bills. Don't do it.
I know.
But favorably, if you look at their schedule, if they don't get double-digit wins, I'm kind of looking like, all right, dude, I think you kind of have to move off of Sean McDermott. Have you seen their schedule, bro? Like, oh, my goodness. I mean, look, you play who you got to play. You don't make the schedule. I get that. But damn it, If it ain't this year, then when is it gonna be? That schedule is looking real tasty for them Bills, man. It's looking real favorable. So, but hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And then the finale. I thought we actually got a solid game. And this is what I was telling you about Caleb Williams, why I wasn't sold. I thought Ben Johnson did a good job in the first half of just, hey, play in the confines of the game, don't get crazy. And then I just felt like Caleb Williams was like, all right, man, this just taking what the defense gives me shit is boring. I got to spice it up. And then he did Caleb Williams. And then Brian Flores was like, all right, yeah, play into my hands, young man. Come on, play into my hands. I'm gonna let you, feel good about yourself in the first half, but when I start dialing this pressure up, what you gonna do? And then next thing you know, Brian Flores started dialing up the pressure, and Caleb Williams looked good in the first half, and then it just switched once Brian Flores started putting on that pressure, and I was like, there it is. There's the guy.
Honestly, that's not the take that I got from it. I actually thought that even though the Bears lost, the Bears looked pretty good. They looked the best that they've looked in quite some time, both on offense and defense.
Mhm.
Even though Caleb ended up losing the game, I mean, he still had the late game touchdown to keep it close, and it was really JJ on offense that closed it for them. So, and it was weird because JJ looked horrible in the first half.
And
It
it
was
was,
it was
3 quarters. He was looking. I was like,
yeah, right. For the first 3 quarters, he was like doing a lot of handing the ball off, a lot of check downs, a lot of what you expected, like the worst version of what you expected JJ to be based off of what people thought of him in Michigan, which was like he's just a game manager. And he basically looked like a not very good game manager. And then all of a sudden, when it was the time for him to close it,
he did.
he was throwing deep balls, he was throwing dimes, and he got, he scored and he got the Vikings in the lead. And it was basically just in the fourth quarter where he turned it on, and all of a sudden he was a good quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and that was basically it. But I don't think that it's a sign that the Bears are bad. I think that Caleb had his best game probably so far in the NFL.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't perfect from his end. He did you could see the stresses getting to him, and that did lead to some mistakes.
Yeah.
But protected the ball well. He was dominant through most of it, and then he kept it close in the end, even when they did lose. The defense also, I had said that the defense was sneaky good, and that just how bad the offense was last year kind of put a lot of pressure on them. That defense looked pretty nasty in that game with the pick six, pressuring JJ all game. Like they looked really good. So I don't actually take their loss as a sign that I was wrong about the Bears. I think that it was just kind of bad luck more than anything from JJ all of a sudden popping the fuck off in the fourth quarter. And I could see the Bears, based off that performance, winning. Who's their next opponent in week 2?
I think let me pull it up real quick. But I know just because I don't think Caleb Williams played terribly. I just kind of felt like he got bored. He was like, I gotta spice this up, man. And you're like, bro, whoa, get back to hold on, Pimp, get back to what was working. Bears got Lions next and Cowboys. So their next 3 is
those are gonna be 2 very interesting games, man. But like even when he was going off the numbers, he threw some dimes. Like he got that pass to the sideline. Like he got some really nice throws. The talent's absolutely there. I agree that his decision making isn't always perfect, but I think
it showed up last night, Andy. It showed up last night. And here's where I say it showed up. There were some plays where he scrambled out of the pocket to, let me get a downfield throw. So he moved the pocket and scrambled out.
Yeah. And that's another thing. The running was on point with him.
Yeah, but there were so many times, and I saw it at least 3 or 4 times. Roman Dunze is just sitting in the zone by himself, just waiting for Caleb to throw it to him. And Caleb's looking right at him. He's like, no, let me get these scrambled. And I'm like, whoa, take it. Your wide receiver's there in the zone with nobody around him. Give him the ball and let him make a play. And I'm just like, Caleb, you got to take that. You got to take it. And that's what killed it for me. And I'm not saying he can't be a full-fledged quarterback. But my thing is bro, when you are in the NFL and they give you that little 5-yard out or your wide receiver sitting in that zone unoccupied, you got to give him the ball. And you just got to take it and let your wide receiver do what they did. Now, to your point about the Bears defense, I was impressed with them. We also got to talk about they were out with Jalen Johnson. Their top corner was out. Their nickel cornerback Gordon was out. So they were missing key players to their defensive secondary. And they still, for the most part, kept Justin Jefferson under wraps all the way up to the fourth quarter. Because I know I had him on the fantasy team, and I only need him to make a catch to win. And I was sweating. I'm like, bro, just give me the one damn catch. And he had one catch for 4 yards. And I'm just like, bro, if you don't get this man the football, and then go fourth quarter. Now, we get to the Vikings side. Obviously, they were missing Harrison Smith there. Bet safety. It kind of showed a little bit. And I think kind of Caleb kind of bailed that defense out a little bit with some couple of throws. And then they were missing their starting left tackle, and that kind of showed too. But I think they'll be okay on the defensive side. I got a lot of faith in Brian Flores and how he schemes up that defense, so I'm not worried about that. Now, when it comes to the offense, I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, y'all sure? Y'all gonna stick with him over Sam? And I was like, I'm like, all right, I'm waiting. I'm trying to be as patient as I can. I get it. It's week 1. And the pick 6, I'm like, oh no, hey, it's too much. He's overwhelmed. And I give Kevin O'Connell a lot of credit because he finally helped his quarterback out with the play calling. They started running the ball a little bit more. Jordan Mason started to get some runs. He involved Aaron Jones, not only in the running game, but in the passing game. Go ahead, hit the couple of swing routes. Hit them.
That crazy dime that he threw to Aaron Jones too.
I give J.J. McCarthy a lot of credit. I was one of his critics coming into the season because I'm like, I don't know what you are. We didn't get to see your rookie year. This is his rookie year. In your first NFL game, it was not looking good for literally. It was not looking good for 45 minutes, and then for him to be essentially a rookie. Your first start is on Monday Night Football. The whole world's watching. So that's a different level of pressure that you got to deal with. You just threw a pick 6. I know plenty of quarterbacks that would have crumbled after that moment. And his coach gave him faith. And next thing you know, fourth quarter comes out. All right. They moved him out the pocket on some of those play action bootlegs. Drop a pass here. Boom. And hey, take your shot. Hit Jettis. He's down there somewhere. Just throw it. 18's down there somewhere. Just get it down there. Boom. And then the scramble when he got the touchdown. I'm like, oh, this guy got moxie. And I'm like, all right, I see why they loved, why Harbaugh loved him in Michigan. And now I see why they drafted him. Because say what you want for the first 45 minutes. It's justified. He wasn't playing well. But damn it, it matters when it matters. You can't win a game in quarters 1, 2, and 3. It can make a difference. But quarter 4, him and O'Connell were on the same page, and it was just crazy how that switch just got flipped. I'm like, they ain't the same quarterback I've been watching for 45 minutes. Who is this guy?
Well, the other quarters, obviously, like that puts you in the position where you don't have to do the heroics at the end. But if you're able to do the heroics, that's important, obviously. And I guess it's hard to gauge what he is based off of that game. It's hard, I think, to gauge both of them. It's hard to gauge Caleb, and it's hard to gauge JJ off that game because Caleb, I still think, looked good for the most part, but he did have some mistakes and he did end up losing. JJ looked horrible up until the fourth quarter, and then all of a sudden he was a superhero. So what that it predicts for the next game, I think, is difficult. That it could just be that he's learning really quickly, and that he learned really quickly mid-game, and that he turned it on after that. Does that carry into next week? We'll see. That's the question. But I did say that I thought that JJ was going to end up being better than Sam Darnold because it was mostly the Viking system. And considering how game managery he played, I think that does also play into my idea of what he's going to be. Is he's going to be a game manager who can turn it on to make the plays when necessary, and that is basically what he did. He was much worse when he was playing as a game manager. When he turned it on to be the guy, he was significantly better. But I do think that he's going to be that guy that he just needs to be the guy that makes the right plays and doesn't make mistakes. I think that's what they want from him. And he made a big mistake in the early part of the game, but he managed to turn it around and make up for it. And I think that is probably how they're going to use him, similar to how Harbaugh used him in Michigan. And
exactly.
If they can do that with the team they have, it will work. And it worked here.
I 100,000 infinity agree with you. It was just one of those things where I was like, all right. That's why I noticed this almost a switch that they got flipped for Kevin O'Connell and McCarthy. Hey, let's just do what got you drafted. Let's get the running game involved, get your running backs, and then we'll have you make the certain throws when we need them to. I'm taking a wild guess. I think O'Connell probably asked him way too much in the first 3 quarters and then dialed it back. And then once he noticed that he can handle it, kind of gave him a little bit more. But I think there's nothing wrong.
I think him showing faith in him helped, for sure.
Yeah. Yes. There's nothing wrong with spoon feeding it. It's okay. But once we get into the flow of the season, you'll kind of want to maximize on what he did in the fourth, and then fix on what he pretty much messed up on quarters 1, 2, and 3, and then improve that play, and then have it match up with what he did in the fourth. I think if he does that, you'll be okay, because you really put him in the same almost predicament you did with Sam Darnold. Don't ask him to play it worldly. I don't think you have to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, so I think that Kevin O'Connell's style is kind of similar to the Kyle Shanahan style, where like you're clay and I'm going to fit you into my mold and put a bunch of talent around you to make you work. And I don't think that that's a bad thing when you have the quarterback that's right to do it. If JJ can be more than that, which he showed in the fourth, that he can be the guy to, when you need him to, drive it for you. With big hard throws that aren't the easy checkdowns, that aren't just the conservative, just dinking and dunking, getting it to the guy. When you can be the reason you're winning, when you need him to be, but you give him that in little bits and spurts when it's necessary, but don't ask him to do that much. You really have something there. I think JJ can fill the Sam Darnold position very nicely, which is exactly what I expected.
Well, what's that word they like to use in football people? He got moxie. The guy got some moxie. So, hey, I call it grande cojones syndrome, where that man played with some big nuts, and he was showing that I got some big pairs down here. So, hey. Again, a lot of quarterbacks would have folded after that pick 6, and a lot of things weren't going right for McCarthy. So I give him a lot of credit for not folding. He just kept staying with it, and that matters. So in his essentially his rookie season, hey, maybe they did make the wrong decision. But my only thing, JJ, you can't play like crap for 45 minutes and expect to just win it in 15 minutes every game. That ain't gonna work in the NFL. It ain't gonna work in the
NFL. No. Yeah, I guess that's the question, is like, is that his play style, or is what we saw in the beginning his play, then it wasn't, and then what we saw in the fourth quarter, is that what's going to drag into the rest of it? Did it click, or is he just a fourth quarter quarterback? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Man, a lot of stuff, man. I guess some of the teams that we're expecting had some struggles in week one. I'll be first admitted, Chiefs struggled. Broncos struggled even though they won. There was a couple other teams. Lions. Oof.
Also, I just want to say another. So I got some predictions very wrong, but I also got some predictions very right. And another one we didn't talk about that I got right. Vegas has been very nice to the Patriots. Very nice to the Patriots. They were the favorite in almost every game that they had. And I said Drake May had 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. And he showed flashes of potential and talent, but we are giving him a lot of credit off of a very small sample size. We're not putting a lot of talent around him yet. I do think this rebuild is going to be more than a year. And everybody was like, nah, this is the year. They're going to the playoffs. It was like, all right, fine. I think you guys just want the narrative of a new Patriots top quarterback. Then he lost to the Raiders. And the Raiders have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. Geno massively outplayed him. And yeah, I think that people need to pump the brakes with the Patriots a little bit. Like, Drake May has the potential to be very good. I don't think he has already met that yet, and he certainly doesn't have the talent to fulfill his potential yet. This is going to be a 2 to 3 year rebuild, and that's okay.
And it's okay, but yeah. Some interesting things going on in NFL Week 1. There's some fan bases already crashing out. There's some that are feeling hopeful about their team. And there's some fan bases that are just like, yeah, man, I can't wait for the draft. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. Saints fans, get ready for the draft. Yeah, y'all still ain't gonna be good. I don't care what y'all say.
Yeah. I know one of my winless picks is already over, but one of them is still holding strong.
I'm trying to tell you about that damn Colts 0-17. That's nonsense. They won 8 games last year. I get it. And they still won 8 games with Shoddy. Well, and Flacco kind of bailed them out. But regardless, I was like, come on, Rand, man. Don't do that don't do that to the Colts, man. They
Look, like I said, I've seen Daniel Jones very closely. And he managed to replicate the 1 year that he had that was good. But we know how that ended. So it ain't out the realm of possibility of him turning into Daniel Jones. There is a clock that will strike at midnight at some point, and then it's going to be up to him to either go back to the rags or stay rich. That's going to be on him. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, appreciate it as always, man. I love some good NFL talk for sure. We didn't do our picks today. It's all good. If you want, Randy, give me your picks. I'll make a graphic for it, and I'll post it on the Facebook page and put it on the YouTube channel and all that. And then we'll keep tabs of our picks, because I know we went over week 1's picks last week. But just whenever you want to send that over before Thursday. If you just want to send me your Thursday pick and then the rest of your picks before Sunday, that's totally up to you. Just let me know what you want to do, and I'll make sure we keep track of our weekly picks. My weekly pick last week, the only ones I got wrong, of course, Detroit screwed me, Houston screwed me, of course, Baltimore screwed me. I went out on a limb with Seattle. They still should have won that game. I went out on a limb with New England. They definitely screwed me. And I went out on a limb with Cleveland, and they kicker screwed me. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so I went 9-7 last week, including that Kansas City loss. So yeah, we can make more informed picks now that we've seen the teams look like it for this year.
Yeah. So we'll get our picks out to you sometime this week, folks. So take a peek at the YouTube channel. So that's why you got to make sure you like, share, subscribe, get that bell notification anytime we drop any content. Or you can join the Facebook I.O.W Sports Network Facebook page, and we always talking sports in there. So, like always appreciate my man Randy for stopping in and always talking sports with your boy. I'm gonna be back tomorrow night, and then other than that, we will see Randy next week. We definitely will discuss the happenings of week 2. Oh, next week, be prepared to talk about the new developments of the GOAT debate. It sounds crazy, but I need to discuss it. I almost talked about it last night or today, but I was like, we'll talk about it next week. We'll sneak it in there.
Oh, I'm down to talk about that for sure.
Because these brown sexuals had just took this GOAT debate to another damn level, and I'm already sick of it. And if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know. But look forward to that. Again, appreciate Randy. Y'all make sure if you need audio needs, Panther on Acid on Instagram, jump in his DMs if you need some audio needs. Other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow. On behalf of Randy Rebber, I'm Wildcard Mar. Y'all know where to find me. Hey, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We out. Holla at y'all. Peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo, cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar.